Feeling ashamed of your talent. Welcome to Movie Takeaways. In this show, we discuss and talk about the things we've learned from the great movies we've watched. And without wasting more time, let's get to today's movie, Rocky II.
Why don't you stand up and fight this guy hard like you've done before? That was beautiful.
Rocky II. The story continues.
I think you're going to see a real great battle in every sense of the word.
Feeling ashamed of your talent. We see how Rocky was feeling ashamed of being a boxer. He kept trying getting a job anywhere but kept getting rejected from everywhere he applied, especially from the places that saw how well he fought against Apollo Creed. Hence why they kept telling him, "Why don't you stick to boxing? You're good at it." At the end, he managed to get a job at the butcher's, but as soon as they had to cut down on their costs, he was among the first to be let go. Rocky became jobless and had no choice but to go back to boxing again. But this time around, he couldn't train as well as he used to before because his wife didn't want him to be a boxer. We saw how his feeling of guilt messed with his focus and effort whenever he tried to train. But after Rocky's wife came out of her coma, she told Rocky that she wanted him to win in his rematch against Apollo.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win. Win.
What are we waiting for? Take this!
So this time Rocky gave his all in his training without the burden and feeling of guilt that was holding him back and getting in his way. In reality, a lot of people have talents in areas which are not in your common types of jobs, like a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer. But often when people want to pursue a profession that they feel they're talented in, their community or their family could make them feel ashamed of that desired profession because of how they would look at it. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Everyone will find it easy to do such deeds that will lead him to what he was created for." So it's ludicrous to expect all people will have the same strengths and abilities, or to expect them all to excel in the same common fields. The best way to achieve excellence is by focusing your strengths and abilities on something you're passionate about. But we became societies that plan to not fail rather than societies which plan to excel and innovate. And unfortunately, the first place we see this culture is within our homes. So if you're an independent person and you feel that your community or your family will look down on you if you pursued your desired job, even though that job doesn't conflict with your religious beliefs, then in that case you have to take a clear decision. Either you decide to talk to your family about it, or you decide that you won't share this topic with them. The most important thing is that you actually take a decision. Instead of going months and years with internal battles, it will keep hindering from your performance and eating from your happiness until you get clear on your position with this topic, whether you'll pursue it fully, whether you'll do it part-time, or not at all. Whatever the case may be, you must get clear on your decision. We see how Rocky was struggling financially while his wife was expecting a baby after he blew all the money he made from his title fight against Apollo Creed. And we mentioned how he tried to get a job anywhere and ended up getting a job at the butcher's. But what we didn't mention is, before getting that job at the butcher's, he went back to the gym to sweep the floors for a few bucks just to get by. In the midst of this difficult situation, his previous employer, who was with the mob that would use Rocky as an enforcer, offered Rocky his job back, but Rocky refused it because he didn't want to make his money that way anymore.
You don't need a job like this. Besides, you're Italian. Now you come back and work for me, Rock.
Yeah, well,
What else? Look, you come back, you work on the docks. Get some fresh air. It stinks in here.
Such a powerful scene that reminds us to always protect our integrity at all costs, even when situations are hard in life. Nowadays, what we see promoted on social media is being successful and showing off material things to show you've made it. But we never see how the person got rich. Whether they did it ethically or they had to let go of their values and sell their souls in the process of getting rich. None of that gets put on the IG. In my opinion, getting rich at any cost isn't being successful if you had to sell yourself to get there. What happens is, no matter how high you climb in status, you'll always feel low inside because you sold yourself by letting go of your values and beliefs. A real life example of someone who sacrificed everything they had worked for just to avoid doing something that clashes with their beliefs is Muhammad Ali. He said it was his Islamic beliefs that made him refuse and go and support an unjust war in Vietnam and kill innocent people. And for that noble belief, he sacrificed all of his boxing titles, lost his boxing license, and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. In Muhammad Ali's speech announcing his refusal of induction, he said they told him he had two alternatives: either go to jail or go to the army. And his response was, there is another alternative, and that alternative is justice. New York Times wrote an article saying if there were 100,000 Muhammad Alis that would have put the war to a stop. So let us all stand firmly for our values like Rocky did in the movie and Muhammad Ali did in his life. Alright, so these were my takeaways from the movie Rocky 2. Now you tell me, what were your takeaways? Put it down in the comments, like and share this episode, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm your brother Hisham Yahyai, and I'll see you in the next episode.